Welcome to the Outdoor Realm YouTube channel. I'm Joe, and this is my daughter Lana, and we are going winter camping on our property in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We've got our canvas tent and our tent stove, and we're going to see how this goes. You excited? Yeah, Lana's been waiting for this for a long time now, so they've got quite a bit of snow up here. It is the perfect setting for winter camping, no doubt about that. We're going to go get things set up and ready to go for the weekend. So this is a bag I keep my canvas tent in, but it's got the tent, the poles, the stakes, and everything I need in it. It's just one unit. Obviously I don't need the poles because I got the frame up, but the tent itself is probably from the probably 1940s maybe. It's old. I don't know if it's an old scout tent or what, but I found that on Facebook Marketplace for like I think I paid 110, 120 for it. And then I put a stove jack in it, but you'll see it once we get it set up here. What are you making?
Deer's nest.
A deer's nest? This rope is frozen. Lana's hands are already getting cold, but I brought these hand warmers. I try to bring these and the foot warmers whenever I remember to. And I get this little hand warmer warmed up for Lana. You gotta let the air get to it so it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, make sure you keep your gloves dry. If they're wet, then they're not going to do you any good. The door is always the trickiest part. Alright, tent's pretty much up. It's not perfect, it's stretched in all different angles. It's an old tent, but it keeps the weather off anyway. I am going to plug up these holes. I know you do want ventilation for a hot tent. I just don't want it coming through the sides like that. I'm going to put the ventilation over by the stove itself. But since we're sleeping on the sides, I don't want cold air coming up through underneath. That just doesn't interest me whatsoever. So this is where the stove goes in this corner. I'm going to leave this section open here.
Why?
Because you want fresh air to come in.
It smells weird.
This is a ground cloth and made specifically for this tent. And I made it with a little section that can unbutton, and then you roll up this section to expose the ground, and you put the stove right on top of the ground. There's just solid chunks of frozen earth everywhere. Anyway, I made this ground cloth out of painter's cloth, just a thin canvas. I don't really recommend it. It's pretty flimsy. It works, but it's not the greatest. But I made this with the intention of covering the entire floor of the tent all the way up to the edge. But I found that works better for dry and warm conditions. For something like this, where you're going to be tracking in mud and snow and junk, I found that I'll tuck under the front end of it, or the back end I should say, under itself, so shorten it up like 1.5 feet. So that way we have a place to take off our muddy boots, and then we're not tracking mud all over the ground cloth. Just kind of roll up like this. And I'm just going to tuck this underneath. And the stove will go right here. This is the stove jack that we added. Bought it online, and my mom sewed it on. She's got a sewing machine, so she sewed the actual square on. And this used to have Velcro on it. Hey, you. This used to have Velcro on it that held it together, but I like old-fashioned stuff, so I took the Velcro off and I hand sewed hand stitched this, so it had a nice stitched edge, and then I put a couple wooden buttons on it and stitched some buttonholes. Hey.
I put my hand through you.
You're silly.
That's not what I thought.
Okay. Last time we used this Clark and I, it was raining and snowing, like wet snow. And I've been rolling it up like this way. And I just realized that that's probably why it was leaking water so bad last time. Because the water was probably just collecting in the top here. So I just rolled it underneath. So the water should just roll off that a whole lot better.
Hi.
Hi. This is the stove that we've been using. It's a Woods Walker. I got it off of Amazon. This is one of those fold-up types. The cool thing about this one is it's got these hooks built into it. And to set it up, all you do is just drop the hooks in place. A lot of stoves you have to like, screw in bolts and stuff, but this one's just a simple hook that swivels into place.
How did this even lock?
It's got these little swivel hooks. Like that. And it just locks into place. What do you think of that? It's got this this built-in damper too, which is actually pretty cool. The stove comes with this spark arrestor. Yeah, it's nothing super fancy or anything, but this does get pretty dirty, and you know, if you used it for days on end, you'd have to clean it out for sure. Now, this is the stove pipe. It just rolls right up. So when you unroll it lengthwise, and then you roll it sideways, which I'll show you in a second here. But when you're handling the stove pipe, you want to have some kind of gloves on because the edges are pretty sharp. So as you can see, it kind of automatically wants to just start folding in like it's supposed to, which after you use it for a while, it's kind of nice when it does that. So the stove comes with 10 different rings. They just hold the pipe together. So I like to just throw those all on at the same time. Throw on the clamp. And that's the stove pipe. So I like to use this to put wood on that needs to dry. So usually what I'll do is I'll have a little pile of wood next to the side of the tent, and I'll put the wood that I'm gonna put into the stove next on top of this little grate, and then it's closer to the stove, it dries out. I did add a carbon monoxide alarm to this kit as well, just to be on the safe side. Well, Lana's getting cold, so I'm going to put this in the tent for her until we can get the stove started. Alright, while she's warming up in there, I'm going to grab the cot and all her bedding and get all that in here and situated. Her Majesty Lana has requested a chair. She is basically a princess. Oh, it's warm in here. Is that better? Mm-hmm. Nice and warm now? Mm-hmm. Good. If you take kids camping, you learn pretty quick. You want to keep them happy, or you're probably not going to be very happy when they start complaining. You got to come with low expectations. It'll get better as they get older, and they become more independent. Lana just turned 6, so I won't expect a 6-year-old to be able to handle herself yet out in these type of elements. Just be patient with them. If you've seen some of my other videos on this property, you'll see that I carry a gun. The reason I do is because I don't know this area very well. I don't know what's up here. I know there's like coyotes and stuff, whatever. There's wolves in the Upper Peninsula. I don't know if there's wolves in this area or not. I haven't seen them on trail camera or seen any other signs or anything of them. I know that there are occasionally mountain lion sightings in the Upper Peninsula, and I'd rather have it on me than be stuck facing a mountain lion without it. Especially out here, we're a good ways off the main road. It would be bad if something happened to me, especially as one of the kids here. This at least gives me an upper hand on something, and that's why I carry it, is because I don't know what's out here yet, and until I kind of get more comfortable with the layout and kind of what kind of creatures are out and about, I will probably carry this whenever I'm away from camp. So, all right, well, I'm gonna go dig the latrine. We've been staying out here. I want to say this is like my 5th time or something like that. I've lost count, but we've been using just a cat hole and a shower tent. We have used it in the cold, and I found that you just bring the buddy heater in there and it works pretty good. So that buddy heater is like our best friend when it comes to this kind of stuff. This is a temporary thing until we can actually get we're gonna build an outhouse at some point, hopefully once the warm weather comes out. This is the shower tent we've been using out here. We used to have another one that had poles. You had to set up the poles. That was a huge pain, so I got this tent, which is a huge upgrade. It's a pop-up. It sets up in a very minimal amount of time, as you'll see. Bam, just like that. There we go. Nothing makes you feel more wild and free than taking a dump in the hole in the ground. So we have a toilet seat that we put in there too. I'll show you that here in a second. There we go. Just a toilet seat, super simple. So that's served us quite well since we've been out here. Glad we have it. Makes things a lot more bearable, I guess. Kind of weird when you think of an outdoor toilet like that as a comfort thing. Well, not a comfort thing, but a luxury, I guess, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean. How's it going in here?
Good.
Ooh, it's nice and warm.
My pants are like hot.
Oh, good. Okay, well, everything is pretty much set up. Our bedding we'll take care of later. I want to use as much daylight as possible doing things outside. So I think I'm going to go start looking for firewood. We need a lot of firewood. What I've found with these stoves, well, I've been using the stove and I've used the buddy heater. They both have the good things about them, and they both have drawbacks. The stove is nice because wood is free out here, except you got to gather it. The other nice thing about the stove is I can stoke it up. It'll last usually up to about 2 hours before I wake up and it's cold in there and I have to stoke it back up. Depends on how hot the wood's burning. It takes a long time for it to start warming up in there and actually get things warm. Whereas the buddy heater, it's just you turn it on and it's almost instantly warm, especially in a small tent like that. The drawback with the buddy heater is the propane. You'll go through a propane tank in one day if you're heating it up during the day and at night. But the other issue with the buddy heater is it starts up great and it warms up real quick, but when you shut it off, that's it for the heat. It starts cooling off right away, as opposed to the stove, which keeps letting off warmth as time goes on. It takes a while for the heat to dissipate. I like the stove better than the buddy heater. It's fun. I love stoves. I like the heat that wood gives off. I like cooking on them. It's a lot of fun. It's a little extra work, but that doesn't bother me. It's the rustic kind of feel that I enjoy in a camp like this type of setting. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that because, having a little experience with using both the buddy heater and the stove, there's perks to them and there's drawbacks, just like everything else. But that's what I've experienced so far. So now I'm gonna go grab some firewood. We got a small pile here. I should probably dig that snow out of the fire pit. I think I'm gonna start with a fire there and just get a fire going. Well, that's everything that I just collected, so we're just gonna burn that down and hopefully get a decent coal base going. I've really taken to using just regular lighters on my camping trips. I put these in totes and bags and just about everything I can think of. They're usually pretty trustworthy. I like matches too, but for some reason I don't like using them because I like to hoard them and just keep a big collection of them and never use them. The nice thing is about matches is I can use them to light my gas lantern a lot easier. That is some pretty wet wood, Lana. Crackling a little bit. We'll see if it dries out. This is a saw that I made. It's a buck saw. I bought some red oak at like the Menards or something, and I made a saw out of it. You can break it down, you can take the blade off, and everything comes apart, and it fits in this little canvas sleeve that I made for it. I made it for canoe camping, but I found that it works really good for sawing any kind of wood on any kind of camping trip. So, but I got all these this hardwood that I've collected. I don't like running pine in the stove because pine tends to throw more sparks. I'm gonna get this all cut up, and I think this amount should be enough to last us tonight. Put coals in there, yep. I've been working outside all night trying to get all this firewood here ready for tonight. But I let Lana watch some cartoons. I usually don't really like letting kids watch videos while we're camping, but it gives her something to do. Keeps her occupied for a bit. And we're just gonna throw this in the pot, heat it up on the stove. It should be good to go. I am having a real hard time keeping this fire going. All this wood is wet. I've got wood literally sitting on top of the stove. I was able to put my hand on the top of the stove and not burn it. Food is heating up. Slowly.
Okay.
Alright, well hopefully we can get some of this wood dried out. Hey, it's so cold in here I can see my breath. About 45 degrees in here. It's a little cold. What I need to do is just get this blazing hot and then try to get some of the wood I got stacked around here all dried out. Yep, I think food's done. We got crackers and soup. I'm having a real hard time with this fire. I've got the buddy heater going, I've got wood stacked on that, I got wood stacked around the stove. I've started shaving the bark off, and I think that might actually help dry it out quicker. This is going to be pretty much all I'm going to do tonight, I think, is mess with this fire. But I'm going to peel all the bark off of everything, and hopefully that will solve our problem. But we'll see. Well, I'm on my third bowl of this pot pie soup stuff. It's pretty tasty. I think this the peeling the bark method's working. I'm glad I brought this buddy heater as a backup, because that would have been not good. Okay, well I've got all the wood peeled, and It's just all waiting its turn to get on the stove. Actually, the buddy heater is doing a lot better job of drying the wood out than the actual stove is, but the fire's going, so it's working. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was before. I'm going to clean up in here a little bit. Lana and I are going to play a little bit of Uno because that's one of her favorites. And then we're just going to go to bed. But we will be back at it in the morning. Well, we survived the night. The method that I used, peeling the bark off the wood and drying it, actually worked last night. So we went through our entire pile of wood. We ran out of wood in the middle of the night, unfortunately. So we had to turn the buddy heater on. Well, it's about 10:30 right now. We're gonna go grab some breakfast. I'm gonna get my camp stove and bring that in here, and we're gonna cook right in here. And after breakfast, we got some work to do. Mm-hmm.
Cool, that's how you cook.
So we got Spam and we got hash. That's what we're gonna be eating this morning. Well, we got breakfast all cleaned up, and first thing I wanted to get done is we're gonna put up a like a gate of sorts. It's just gonna be a cable with a sign on it. So we've got these trees that were cut down this past fall. I'm gonna cut them up into probably 6-foot lengths, and we'll dig a hole and stick them in there. Sound good? Okay, let's get to work. I've really been wanting to try out my new draw knife. This is a draw knife that I picked up at an antique store. Figure this is probably some good practice for when we build the cabin later. But we're gonna use these two poles for posts, and I'm just gonna finish peeling off the bark, and then we're gonna load them up in the truck and take them down to the location we're gonna be putting them at.
By the way, jaguars are faster than normal cats.
Really? down. Well, I should have brought a drill to get a hole started, since I don't have one with me. I grabbed a couple screwdrivers, started with a smaller point, and went to a wider point and just used a hammer and just pounded a hole in there to get the screw bit piece started. That worked out alright. I'm gonna do the other one here. When you forget your tools, you gotta just figure out how to improvise. This whole thing is just a learning process for me. I have an idea, I have an end goal, and it's a matter of figuring out how to get there. So for the wire, I just got this, well, it's a cable. I forgot my bolt cutters, unfortunately. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna clamp those down. I brought a bench vise to try to assist with that. This is the clamp I have. It's probably too small, honestly. It doesn't fit in there very well.
But squirrels are pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like to make sounds?
Yes, you do. I've been messing with this wire for a while and I just don't have the right tools and it's not working. So I'm just going to hang it the way it is. Or just wrap it around. That'll work for now. Alright, well that's our temporary gate for now. We're gonna go start marking trees for the cabin. I want to build a cabin with hewn logs. So I want a diameter of at least 12 inches of what I'm looking for. So I have a rope that's about 38 inches so I can measure the circumference. So basically I just took 12 times 3.14 and came up with just under 38 inches. So if I'm able to wrap this rope around, or if the tree is bigger than that, then this is going to be my minimum measurement. So about 4.5 feet off the ground, I'll wrap the rope around the tree and just try to make sure it's as straight as possible, and that's the tree I'm going to mark. I got some orange trail marking tape. Another thing I'm looking for is make sure these trees are straight. Some of these trees are like, they're split into second growth. I don't really want those. I want straight trees. There's a lot of them out here. The biggest issue is finding ones that are going to be easy to access. But I'm using the trail tape instead of painting because if I decide I don't want to use a tree, I don't really want a tree sitting out here with paint on it. It looks kind of weird to me. The tape you can just take right off. That one's just too small. I'm trying to be picky, especially to start with for the bottom logs. So we're probably going to have to just end up cutting as we go. The first one I found was pretty big. It's hard to find big ones like that. Thankfully that one's right on the trail, so I'm gonna keep looking here. Well, we were going to stay here another night and leave tomorrow morning, but Lana has informed me that she is not feeling well and would like to go home. So we're going to pack everything up quick and get out of here. It was a fun trip. I never thought I'd actually do winter camping because it just sounded terrible. But it's not that bad as long as you prepare for it. You've got everything that you need to stay warm is the biggest thing. Because it could be pretty miserable. But we're just kind of easing into it a little bit with bringing the buddy heater with us for situations like last night with the wood being wet. But we were able to figure it out and we burned up all our wood and it actually worked out pretty good. We got the temporary gate put up, got a dozen trees marked for the cabin, and it's always good to get some stuff done when you're up here. So, but we're gonna get packed up quick and get out of here. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. We will see you on the next one.